Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where I get to do battle with the Times cryptic crossword and try and talk you through my thought processes such as they are in order to help you with your own solving. Now, unusually for a Friday, today's puzzle is only slightly harder than average. The snitch rating, when I checked it earlier, was about 110, so 100 is the sort of average level. And we've had some incredibly hard puzzles on Fridays in recent weeks and months, sort of 220, 230 snitch levels. So this one should just be modestly harder than average. And in fact, I had a text from Mark this morning saying that today's cryptic might be the first time the quick cryptic, which is this one, which I tend to do at the end of the video, takes longer than the cryptic. So I don't know what that means. And in fact, I don't know who the author is of either of the puzzles today. We'll get a hint for the quick cryptic because of the pseudonym will be revealed. But I don't know who the cryptic is. If I find out before the video goes live, I will, of course, put that in the title in the video description. And is there anything... Oh, have I got... Oh, yes, I have got my dictionary, although it's not in the right place. Let's pop the dictionary into the right place. We might use the dictionary just to talk through some principles involved. And the other thing I will mention is that, as requested by some of you, I have spent a lot of time over the last few days doing battle with this puzzle, the listener crossword, Listen by Eck. And I've recorded a whole series of videos sort of documenting how I've got on with that. I won't tell you where I've got to or how long it's taken, because I think that actually the puzzle is now closed. I think that when's the closing date? You have to send your entry by yesterday, so it is closed now. But I still shouldn't reveal anything. And in the late half of next week, we'll start releasing those videos over on Patreon. So if anyone wants to see how I do battle with that listener crossword, and it's a very, very interesting puzzle, that will be available next week. I think we're going to release 2 videos a day, starting maybe Wednesday, something like that. So that's that. Is there anything else? I don't have any birthdays to do. No, let's just get cracking. Let's have a look at the Times crossword together, and let's get cracking with today's puzzle. I'm recording this slightly later in the day than I intended to, so I could do with this not being monstrously hard. Oh, and there's the announcement there about the Times crossword on Saturday, October 11th. Mark and I are intending to be there, so hopefully we might see some of you there as well, which would be lovely. 1 across, 7 letters. Concerning when brackets support nothing. Concerning, and I apologise for the... It must sound so strange to some of you how I've read that out, because if we try and put, imagine it's in a book, this sentence, concerning when brackets support nothing is how we'd read it. But because I'm so used to reading these clues and trying to, I suppose, parse them and work out how they work from a cryptic crossword perspective, I read them in a strange way. Remember, all these clues have a quick crossword definition of the answer. So in theory, if we were good enough at reading the clues, we could reduce this crossword to being a quick crossword. And the rest of the clue is the recipe, the wordplay for how to generate the answer that we're going to enter. So, concerning, that makes me immediately think of re, because if you saw re on a memo at work, it would mean the memo is about this subject. So concerning could be re. When feels like as, doesn't it? Not 2 as, it's just 1. Brackets support nothing. Oh goodness, there's a big fly. I don't actually know what this is at all. Let's have a look at 1 down. 4 letters. Ancient symbol seen in an evacuated Casbah. Well, I do know what this is. This is a strange word. And this is actually, it's a great clue, this. If you're relatively new to cryptic crosswords, you'll have a chance of solving this. And even if you can't do it, you'll understand when I explain exactly how it works. So, one side of the clue is almost always going to be the definition. So it could be ancient, it could be ancient symbol, or it could be Casbah. It's very unlikely to be evacuated Casbah, because if we think about it, there probably aren't any dictionary definitions of words meaning evacuated Casbah. And in fact, the clue as to what's going on here is that word evacuated, because that fly is really massive and very annoying. Go on, spider, you catch the fly. Go away. Go fly out of the window. If a word is evacuated, what might that mean from a cryptic perspective? And I think that means that its inside is removed. So if we evacuate the word Casbah, that's going to give us KH, which is a weird thing. And there's a bit of general knowledge. There is this word Ankh, which is some sort of cross, I think. I want to say Egyptian cross, but I mean, maybe that's what the clue's relating to, is sort of an African market. Let's go and have a look. I'm definitely not changing it. An Ansate cross. It's from Egyptian. Life. Ansate. What does that mean? Having a handle. Okay, so if we reread the clue and try and understand it, the ancient symbol is defining the Ankh. Seen is doing the duty of an equal sign. It's saying this side of the clue, ancient symbol, is equal to an, that's literally the word an, and Casbah evacuated, so Casbah without its innards. Now let's go back to one across. Concerning when brackets support nothing. Yes, okay, I have got this now. A lot of the difficulty here actually is working out which side of the clue is the definition. If you got that the definition was concerning, well done, it is. How does it work? When is bracketing something? Well, brackets sort of surround something, don't they? So when this word as that we thought it might be is bracketing, it's surrounding a word for a support and something that means nothing. Now in cryptic crossword land, nothing is very often zero. It could be a short synonym for nothing like nil, but it's very often zero, O. And you may say, hang on, how does O equal nothing? I mean, they look the same. But if you actually look under the word O in the dictionary, it is defined as, it's defined as nothing. Anything round or nearly so, but also it's just defined as naught or nothing, presumably because it looks like that. So nothing there is O. A four-letter word for a support is a prop. And apropos is concerning. If something is apropos something else, it's on the subject of it. So apropos is what we're looking at there. Now let's try for 9 across, which is 9 letters. Cheap floor. You can see this is a 2-word clue. If you get 2-word clues, they are almost always, you just cut them in half and they're a double definition. So we're looking for a word that means cheap and a word that means floor. If you floor somebody, you sort of knock them out, don't you? Cheap. Knockdown is what we're looking for. So double definition, something's cheap, it's a knockdown. And if you knock somebody down, you floor them. Now I'm tempted to go for that one, which looks like poker, but let's look at 2 down first. 7 letters beginning with R. Bird coming from tall rose to fly around. So it's a nice surface, that, isn't it? Glastonbury Tor, for example. Tor is just a word that means a hill. It may even be a rocky outcrop. Let's just have a look at that. It's not going to be relevant to the answer. A rocky height, nearly. Again, go through the process. Try and force yourself to read the clue and make a decision. Decide in your own mind, I'm very confident that the quick crossword element, the sort of the synonym part of it, the quick crossword clue is either going to be bird or fly around maybe, or just around. Make a decision. What do you think it is? If you think it's bird, I think you're right. And what we've got here is this phrase to fly around. And that's part of the recipe. And what that's doing is saying we need these letters to fly around in Tor rows. You can see Tor rows is 7 letters. We're looking for a 7-letter answer. And if those letters fly around, they are going to be anagrammed. So here it's rooster that we're going to be looking for. You may say, you may have, if you've never done a cryptic crossword before, you may be familiar with the fact that there are some anagrams in them, but you may not know that the constructor always has to tell you that it's an anagram. You can't just include this clue could not have read bird coming from Tor rows, because there would be nothing really telling you to anagram the letters of Tor rows. There has to be an instruction to perform the anagram, to scramble the letters, and a word like scramble would be absolutely a way of instructing the solver to perform an anagram. Let's see if this is poker. Five letters. Correct boards for every game. Okay, this is an interesting one, because you may see the word game and you may think, well, probably the answer is poker, and indeed it is, but it's a good lesson in make yourself understand why it's poker. How does the recipe work there? So let's put poker in and see if we can understand. Correct boards for every. Now the other principle that I think is very important, and it will apply in all good broadsheet cryptic crosswords, is that there won't be anything superfluous in the clue. And why do I say that? Well, when we cut the clue between the recipe, correct boards for every, and the word game, every part of the phrase correct boards for every has to be relevant to the wordplay. There's not going to be anything superfluous there. So how does it work? Well, if something is correct, it's okay. And that's boarding is going into, if you board a ship, you go into the ship, don't you? A 3-letter word that means for every, per, as in per capita or something like that. So for every is per, P-E-R, with OK on board. Let's try 4 down. 8 letters. Scheming nurses adore surgeon, ultimately not orderly. So, okay, let's. I should take my own advice. What do we think the definition is here? And I don't know the answer. If I was guessing at this point, I would say it's going to be the word scheming. And this phrase, not orderly, makes me think that we might be looking at an anagram. But how are we going to construct an anagram here? Yeah, I'm not sure, actually. It's not something like slovenly, is it? No, I'm not. I mean, the phrase ultimately in the recipe is going to mean take the ultimate letters, take the final letters, probably of surgeon, so that's an N, maybe of adore as well, it could be EN. So maybe it's an anagram of, no, we've got no O, have we, in nurses, E and N, so that's not going to be right. So it could be the ultimate letter in surgeon, N, adore, which has got an O in it, which we're going to need. That's 6 letters. And if I could think of a 2-letter abbreviation for nurses, that would be fine. But I don't. I think RN might be a registered nurse. But then we haven't got any S's, have we? And also, why would nurses be plural? If RN was an abbreviation for registered nurse, which it might not even be. I mean, the other thought I'm now having is that if you nurse a drink, you sort of look after it, don't you? You could sort of cosset it, and therefore, could it be a word that for scheming, which is nursing, so it's surrounding, E and N for the ultimate letters in adore and surgeon, and the whole thing means not orderly. Scheming. Oh, hang on. Scheming could be sly. Oh, scheming will be sly. Okay. Adore is... that's weird. So it is slovenly. It's funny how my brain went to that, but it didn't understand. But some part of my brain obviously thought that was the answer. But the conscious part, well, I mean, my subconscious told me that might be the answer, but my conscious brain refused to listen. It happens like that sometimes, and it's very annoying because, you solve the clue so much faster. So how does it work? I now understand it, and I totally misled you when I said I thought it meant scheming. It doesn't. It means not orderly. Now, scheming is sly, but we have to be, you can see it could be sly S-L-Y, or it could be S-L-Y, and it's actually that second one, because scheming, sly, is nursing, it's surrounding a 4-letter word for adore, love, surgeon ultimately, N, and that gives us the fodder we need, the recipe we need to get the answer. So slovenly is good there. What's this going to be? Turkey something? Turkey? No. I don't know. I should actually read the clue, shouldn't I? 6-7. Became opposed to sour commander in street. Became opposed to. Turned? Turned against? Yeah, turned against is right. Okay. So, again, where are we going to cut the clue? Became opposed to. Cut it. We need a phrase 6-7 that means that. And we think it's turned against. And then we have to justify that from the recipe. How do we do it? If something to bit defender. Why does it do that? It does this sometimes. It thinks it's funny to just pop up things on my screen. Very annoying. Actually, I'll tell you what happened earlier this week. I was solving the crossword as usual in Microsoft Edge. And then all of a sudden I was halfway through the puzzle and the cursor wouldn't go on to the next letter, and it kept deleting the letter I was typing. And no matter what I did, it didn't seem to go away. So today I'm recording this in Firefox. I've had to change browser because Edge has just stopped working. So I know there are a lot of very clever people watching this video. If you could explain to me what's going on there, I would love to know. Anyway, became opposed to, turned against. If something to sour, if milk goes sour, it's turned, hasn't it? And then a commander is an Aga, as in the Aga Khan. Aga is a sort of Arabic word, I think, that means commander. Let's go and have a look. Aga is also an oven. There we go. A Turkish commander. So Aga, in, is just there, in. And street, ST. I mean, let's do this. I do this every week. It bears repetition. Street can be ST, not because colloquially we might think that's a valid abbreviation. It has to be supported by the dictionary. So if we go and type ST into the dictionary, it must say street, and it does, as well as straight and saint. But that's why in cryptic crossword land some things can be abbreviated. It is not acceptable. Look at this clue. In general. Just because general begins with G doesn't mean that in this answer G could be taken for the word general. Absolutely not, because if we go to the dictionary and type in G, we will not find, we'll find lots of things, but general will not be one of them. General intelligence is one of them, but that general intelligence is not the same as general. So anyway, we're off to a reasonable start today. Let's have a look at 5 down, which is 6 letters. Dismissal of servant with duke for month. Dismissal of servant. Yeah, okay. This is a nice clue, and it's a very instructive clue if you're new to these sorts of puzzles. This phrase here, with duke for month, it's a very mathematical expression. It's sort of saying add duke and remove month, if we think about it from a sort of equational perspective. So when I read this clue, I sort of instantly know that it means dismissal, and the way we're creating the word for dismissal is out of, so of is doing the duty of the equal sign, a 6-letter word for a servant, with a D, because I know that duke can be abbreviated to D, for M, because I know that month can be abbreviated to M. And you may say, hang on, there's an awful lot of inbuilt knowledge there for you to sort of deduce all that from that clue. It's purely experience. It's nothing clever, believe me. Anyone who's been solving cryptic crosswords for a year will do the same thing with this clue. They will instantly dissect it. It's just learning to read a new language and learning how sort of the constructors employ these tricks. But, I mean, now I've explained how the clue works, can you solve it? So we know we're looking for a 6-letter word for a servant that contains an M, and we're going to swap that M for a D and hopefully arrive at a word for a dismissal. Now I think the answer is denial. Whoops. Because a menial is a servant. And if I swap the M for a D, I get denial, and a denial is a dismissal. If you dismiss a charge, you sort of deny it, don't you? So I think that's the answer, and that is what I would write in fairly confidently. Now, 7 letters for 5 across. Beginning with D. Confines of dim space. Suspect flees. Confines of dim space. Suspect flees. What is that getting at? I want it to be, yeah, okay. Okay. Again, these clues are really good today for sort of learning how recipes work. So make your decision. What do you think the definition is? If you think the definition is fleas, well done. I think it's fleas as well. The confines of the word dim are sort of the walls confining the word. You have to get into this weird mindset that words might have walls, they might have roofs. They certainly have ultimate letters and initial letters, and they have hearts. We've already seen an evacuation of a word. So the confines of the word dim, I think, are its first and last letters, the sort of walls of the word, the D and the M. Space, that is literally just the word space, but that is all treated in a suspect manner. What might that mean? It's an anagram. It's an anagram of DM space, and it means flees. And I think it is therefore decamps. And we're still alive. We're still in the game. Let's try 6 down, 9 letters, beginning with C. Animal in village initially charges to appear aggressive. Animal in village initially charges to appear aggressive. I don't know what this is. And taking my own advice, you know, if I was to guess whether I thought this was whether this means animal or to appear aggressive or aggressive, I'm not sure. I'm now trying to think of village was a word we had at university which meant very, very bad. So if you played golf in a village manner, I mean, you played like a one-armed fool. Actually, I've now got to look that up. Village obviously means, you know, like a hamlet as well. But is village a word that means terrible? No. So that must have been just a complete invention. I'm going to blame my friend John for that. He came up with many words that were just clearly fabrications, and I've just proved one of them. Anyway, I wonder where village came from. Anyway, I don't know what this is, and I better not ramble anymore. Let's have a look at 7 down. 7 letters beginning with M. Smorgasbord. Mass dash for one on counter. Mass dash for one on counter. I don't know what this is. My best guess would be it's a word that means smorgasbord. Melange, is that a word? L is a dash. On counter. Why would AN... Oh, dash Elan. Oh, cool. This is quite complicated. Okay, I've lucked into this. So a smorgasbord is sort of a whole, you know, you've got a whole panoply of things, isn't it, to choose from. And I think melange is a word that means that as well. So this is the word I was trying to justify. I didn't do a very good job, but you can do it. Mass can be abbreviated to M. You may say, why? Well, Einstein, E equals mc squared. M in that equation stands for mass. Energy equals mass times the speed of light? The speed of light squared. So, M can be mass. Dash is, if you show dash, you sort of show panache. You show elan. Elan is this word that means sort of, well, it literally means dash, I think. Sort of, no. Oh, I was wondering why my dictionary hadn't worked, but it does. There we go. Elan, vigour, style, impetuosity. So dash. And then for one is e.g. For example, and that's on the counter, so it's reversed. So we get em plus elan plus a reversal of e.g. to equal. Let's look at melange, see exactly how it's defined. A mixture or a medley, so very much a smorgasbord. Right, let's try 8 down, which is 10 letters. Sprinkling substance in grass. Yes. Actually, I've seen this word clued a lot recently. I don't know why, but anyway, there's a good trick to solve this one. This phrase, in grass. It makes, I mean, the clue reads like it's a gardener sprinkling some seeds in the grass, doesn't it? Forget all surfaces in cryptic crossword clues. They will not help you. Here, we are not looking for grasses in the plant. If you grass on somebody in cryptic crossword land, you tell on them. You sing. So a criminal sort of ratting out his abettors sings. So, when I read this clue, I'm immediately thinking it's a word ending in ing. Whoops, not ing, ing. Now, it means sprinkling. And I need to put a 6-letter word for substance in the middle. The substance of something is the matter at hand. And that gives a smattering, which is a sprinkling. So, just a little bit of experience with what grass might mean there. I mean, grass could also be types of grass, but the first thing you should think of is to sing. Now let's try 10 across. My phone is buzzing. That's just another WhatsApp message. 5 letters. Married at traditional place for ceremony, shunning, close island or close island. Married at traditional place for ceremony. That must be altar. Yeah, okay. Lovely. So, married can be M. Let's check. Is it valid to abbreviate the word married to M? And it is, but I want to show you why. In fact, Malta's there. But Malta's actually going to be the answer. Married. There we go. I think that must come from family trees or something. You know, there's loads of these abbreviations that come from family trees. But that married there is M. And that's next to, it's at a traditional place for a ceremony. Well, that's an altar. A-L-T-A-R. Whoops. But that shuns, so it doesn't have its closing letter. So don't read this as close island. It's the closing letter of the word altar. And that gives Malta, so island is the definition here. Let's have another look at 6 down now. So, animal, camel, in village initially, charges to appear aggressive, combative. I quite like wombative or something. I quite like combative to appear aggressive. Let's just see if we can justify it. Bat could be an animal. Wow. Okay, yeah, it is combative. But again, I mean, some of these clues are much more complicated than I feel like they're going to be. So combative is the answer. But we have to cut the clue very precisely to understand why. We have to cut it after the word appear. So combative is just simply defining aggressive. What we have then is the animal is the bat, B-A-T. In village initially is not just saying take the initial letter of the word village. It's saying take the initial letters of the words in and village. So it's IV, it's this I and this V. And that's charging. Now if you charge a glass, you fill it. So you're filling a word which means appear, which is come. You're filling the word come with bat IV to get combative. Not easy. Not easy at all, but made much easier when we had the starting letters. Now, is this linear? Yeah, I think so. 6 letters. So avoiding the sides, slid one's oars straight. Now, if you avoid the sides of the words slid, you just take the L and the I. Ones, you just take the N and the E. And oars, you just take the A and the R. You can see that you can spell the word linear. And if something is linear, it is straight, one-dimensional. Okay, so we've basically done the top. Should we go for 12 down cold? Because this would give us 1, 2, 3. It would give us 5 starting letters, and that would be terrific. So let's have a look. 10 letters. Odd graduate. I'm immediately thinking of the word rumba here. Caught hunting wild bears. Oh no, I don't. Okay, I think that was a bad thought. Caught hunting wild bears. Actually, I don't have a clue. Odd graduate caught hunting wild bears. It's a great clue. Odd in cryptic crosswords is so often the word rum, which means strange. It's not just the alcoholic drink. A graduate is very often a BA or an MA. Caught from cricket scoring is very often C. So immediately we should be thinking about graduate caught. It feels like MAC or BAC. must be relevant here. Hunting. And this word, or this phrase, wild bears. Obviously that can conjure up the image of literally a wild bear, the animal. But the way I read it is if I can think of a word that means wild, then that might be bearing, it might be supporting the weight of, or even surrounding some of this other stuff that's in the recipe. So this might be a 10-letter word that means odd. I don't know. I'm afraid we're going to have to go on. Let's have a look at 13 across, which is 8 letters. In general, room trapped by enemy, presumably. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's quite tricky. So, try and make your decision. What do you think the definition is here? This is hard. I mean, this might have even deserved a question mark at the end. The only way I solved this was because I thought of the word room. And I know that room can be abbreviated to RM. Let's have a look at that. So, again, it's got to be supported by the dictionary. RM. Ream from printing and room. So, I could see we've got the R here. So I wondered whether this had this sort of pattern. And if it were room trapped by, so that suggests we're putting room inside enemy presumably, which is going to have to give a 6-letter phrase. And because I'm sort of used to cryptic crosswords, I can see that this, an ending that would be common here might be able, or it might be ally. And of course, if I say ally differently, that's ally. And an ally is a friend. So an enemy, presumably, might be no ally or no ally. And I know normally is a word, and then it's just a case of checking the other side of clue. In general, well, in general, if something happened in general, it would happen normally, wouldn't it? So, but this phrase here by enemy presumably to be no ally, that is tricky. That's quite hard. And it's a bit punny, so it could have had a question mark at the end of this clue. But let's try let's try 14 down, which is 9 letters. The Spanish. Let's stop there. If you see the phrase the Spanish in cryptic crosswords, it is 99 times out of 100 going to be EL. Why? Because in the language Spanish, the word the translates as L. So that's immediately what I'm expecting here. The Spanish children did read regularly about polymath. Archimedes, Aristotle? Aristotle does end in LE. It's probably Aristotle. Let's put Aristotle in and just see if we can justify it. L? Oh, tots, yeah, of course. So children are tots. Did read regularly. So that's saying, look at the phrase did read and take the regularly occurring letters. So the letters in positions 2, 4 and 6, it could have been the letters occurring in the odd positions 1, 3, 5 and 7. But it's not here. It's regularly is saying take one or the other, and I R A, and that's all turned about to give Aristotle certainly a polymath. Now we've got a decision. Where do we go next? Because we haven't really got any good checking letters. Let's try 17 across. 6. Air conditioning. Now, it won't surprise any of you to know that air conditioning can be AC. So I'm immediately thinking about that. Is this going to be Arctic or something? AC. Yeah. AC, enveloping church it turned very cold. Well, very cold is Arctic. Church, if you see church, there are 3 2-letter abbreviations that it will be. It just will be one of these. It will be either CH, which on an Ordnance Survey map is church. It'll be CE, which stands for Church of England, or it'll be RC, which stands for Roman Catholic. Now here, I think it's going to be RC. And what we've got is air conditioning, which is this A and this C, enveloping RC for church, and it turned. So that's just turning round the word it to give TI. And therefore we can understand how Arctic is a valid answer. And we get the starting letter for 18 down. 7 letters. Very important. Thinking crucial. Vineyard. Crew. Crew is a vineyard. Of non-professional in retirement. Now this is a funny old word. Laic. A lay person is an amateur. So of a non-professional would be laic. L-A-I-C. It's a really weird word that you'll never see in sort of normal. There we go. A layman. If we click layman, where's layman going to be? Here. One of the laity, a non-professional person, someone who is not an expert. I mean, this is just one of these weird words that comes up in cryptic crossword land, you know, sort of once a month, even though it comes up never in real life. Let's try 22 across. Oh, 13 letters. Whenever it's a long one, I always hope that it's going to be sort of chopped up into smaller words, but not here. So 13 letters. One furnishing shop, reportedly, thinking upholsterer for some reason, is fraudulent type. One furnishing shop, reportedly. Is fraudulent type. I don't know what this is. If I was guessing, if I was performing, you know, trying to chop the clue into the recipe and the straightforward definition, I would think that fraudulent type might be what we're looking for here. Somebody who commits frauds. The word reportedly, let's just talk about that. I don't know what exactly it's doing here, but if you see it in a clue, if something is reported to you, you would hear it, wouldn't you? And we get these phrases a lot in cryptic crosswords. Let me just see if I can see another one quickly. Well, there's a reporter there. But it's normally done in some sort of way like we hear, or by the sounds of it. And if you see that, it's going to be a homophone. So let me think of a good example of the word of a homophone. And now I won't be able to think of one, which is appalling, isn't it? Okay, let's think of the word time. Now, time, as I say it to you, could be spelt in 2 different ways. It could be T-I-M-E, or it could be T-H-Y-M-E, the herb. So, you know, herb reportedly might appear in a clue. The herb would be time, T-H-Y-M-E, reportedly, but we hear it, so what we'd enter would be time, T-I-M-E. Something like that is possible. But anyway, that's all by the by. I've got no idea what this is. Let's try 25 across 5 letters. Fool. It must be idiot, mustn't it? Contributing to... Yes. Yes. So there's normally... Well, no, now there can be 2 of these in the Times crossword if one of them is reversed. But these are the most exciting if you're new to the puzzle. Because there are... In almost every Times crossword there will be one of these, and it's a hidden. And these are answers that are actually spelt out in the letters of the clue. So fool is our definition here, and fool has contributed to the letters of deltoid injury in a recurrent way. Recurrent means sort of going backwards here. And if you look backwards in the phrase deltoid injury, you can see spelt out I-D-I-O-T in order. idiot. So it's actually in the clue. Now, when this happens, the constructor has to tell you the answer is hidden. And that's what they've done with this phrase contributing to. Contributing to the phrase deltoid injury is the IDIOT if you look at that phrase in a recurrent way. Let's try 27, 7 letters. Craft festival with delay returning. Craft festival with delay returning. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I didn't know what this was the first couple of readings. How did I get it? Well, the phrase returning is an instruction, is quite clearly an instruction to reverse something, isn't it? So what do we then know about that part of the clue? That must be part of the recipe. It's not going to be the definition. So the other side of the clue is the definition, which is going to mean the definition of this 7-letter word is either craft or craft festival. I don't know any words that mean craft festival, so I'm thinking this is a 7-letter word for a craft. But that doesn't really narrow it down very much. A craft could mean a ship, or it could mean something like an arts and crafts type thing. But can I think of any short synonyms for the word delay? I can think of one, and that's the word lag. Now, if I reverse the word lag, because the lag would be being returned, and I think about where it could go in this string, the only place seems to be there. Now, can I think of a craft that fits into that pattern? Yes, I can. A galleon. And then it's just a case of, well, how does the rest of it work? But a festival of Noel, sort of Christmas time. And so it's a reversal of Noel and lag to give the word galleon. And, be in no doubt, most of that is completely impenetrable. But the better you get at following the threads, at following the gingerbread, that's been dropped on the floor, the more of these clues you'll solve, the more little epiphanies you'll have. And there, it was simply the word returning, really. And then thinking, did I know any short words that meant delay? Now, should we have a look at 12 down again, which is almost, well, it must be ending in ing. Let's put ing in. Odd. Graduate. Is that going to be BA or MA here? Odd. Caught. Hunting wild bears. Okay, I think this is going to mean odd. Graduate. So I think this is a B or an M. Hunting. Wild. Wild is going to be something like untamed, isn't it? But it might have to end in ing. Oh, it's not an... Okay, no. It could be an anagram of hunting, actually. If hunting is treated in a wild way, it might be anagrammed. Unthinking? No, not with an A there, Simon. Yeah, I think, okay, I haven't got this, but I think I might be able to get it. Oh, unmatching. If socks are odd, they're unmatching. There we go. So the way this works is you've got a graduate, which is a Master of Arts, MA. Oh, hang on, am I wrong here? Yeah, that's weird. Because what I think's happening is the word hunting, which is this H, this U, this N, this T, and the IN and the G, is being treated in a wild way. That's being anagrammed, and it's bearing MA for the graduate and caught. which is this C. I'm just quite surprised the MA and the C aren't together in that string. Because they normally would be. Yeah, I suppose, you know, the wild hunting, the wild letters of the word hunting can bear the graduate and the court in different places. There's no requirement really, sort of grammatically, for them to be adjacent, the graduate and the court. It's just normally they would be. But I think that's how the clue works. Sorry, we're getting flown past by Maverick, as so often happens. It's taken Maverick a little longer than usual, but he has made an appearance. Let's go back to this one then, the 13-letter one. One furnishing shop reportedly is fraudulent type counterfeiter. Oh, I like... Oh, a counterfeiter. That's how you'd say that, isn't it? Okay, so this is counterfeiter. I never know how to spell this. I think it's like that. It's the E and the I, which order they're in. So a counterfeiter would be somebody who fits the counters in a shop. But that's being reported. So if we spell that phrase differently, we could spell it like this, which becomes a counterfeiter, somebody who is fraudulent. So counterfeiter is definitely right. And it's just whether I've got the E and the I in the right order, and hopefully 16 down will confirm that this is correct. I think it looks right. Let me just look at it the other way. Yeah, I like it. I like it looking better like that. Let's try 21 down. 6 letters. Hard-working person's code causing damage unexpectedly. Hard-working person. A Trojan? Oh, well, that's a computer reference. Yeah, okay. I think a Trojan horse, or I think a Trojan in computing is like a virus or something. So it would be code causing damage unexpectedly. So it's sort of a double definition, this. A Trojan, to work like a Trojan. Oh, we haven't got a pangram, have we? Whenever you get a J in a puzzle, always think, could it be a pangram? We haven't had... No, we've not had Q. We've not had Z. So... I don't think it is, but let's have a look at this one then. 9 letters. Oh, this is going to be that funny Jambi. I don't know this. I'll have to put this together from the wordplay. Spread with great range, avoided by him, includes second-rate rice dish. It's the name of a rice dish. It's something like Jamba, and then I don't know. Jambalaya or something. Spread, as in marmalade, is jam. With great range. Avoided by him. Oh, that's Himalaya. The Himalayas. Includes second rate. So second rate, if you get a B in something, you don't get an A, you get a B. So it's a second rate. So jam... And then Himalaya. So jambalaya, I think, is what we're after. The great range being the great mountain range of the Himalayas. I can't look this up because that would be cheating, because I don't know the spelling here. But I think that is justified. And what we'll try and do is check these but from the downs, and then we'll look it up at the end. Let's have a look at 16 down then, which would also confirm the spelling of counterfeiter. 8 letters. Scary, being among last in mine by explosive. Scary, being among last in mine. Last in mine makes me think of the last letter in the word mine, which would be E. Scary. Being among last of mine by explosive. Explosive is normally something like TNT or... But I don't think that doesn't seem to work at all. I don't know what this is, actually. I'm a bit lost with that one. Let's try 23 down instead, 5 down. Guitar sound, it could be twang, maybe. 23 down, 5 letters. Beat pounding with good guitar sound. Yeah, okay, it is twang. It's a little difficult to see why. If you beat something, you tan it, T-A-N. And pounding, I think, is somehow... Oh, to impound. If you put a dog in a pound, you cage it, don't you? So I think pounding here is being used as a container indicator to say, put W in. And you may say, that's outrageous. Why is W with? Well, it is a bit outrageous, but if we go to the dictionary, we will find... with. That's why. So with can be W. So we've got tan around W, and then it won't surprise you to know that G can be there. Good. And you know, I know that as we go through this, you must be thinking, especially if you're new to the puzzles, you must be thinking, but this is outrageous. I've got to know all of these abbreviations. You'd be amazed how quickly you can pick them up. If you watch a few of these videos, you'll pick them up and you'll start to realize, you know, what might be a valid abbreviation. It's always worth remembering. It's got to be in the dictionary, so it can't be something completely, mad. Let's try 28 across, 7 letters. Reporters displaying gallantry on a regular basis. I mean, there's a lot going on there. Given what we've talked about before, the word reporter might indicate a homophone. The on a regular basis makes me think that we have to take regularly occurring letters. I'm thinking nightly. I mean, it is nightly. I mean, I'm just a bit fortunate there. On a regular basis, I don't know. And then something in my brain is going nightly as in K-N-I-G-H-T-L-Y. If you behave in a knightly way like that with a K, you behave in a gallant way, don't you? So the reporter displaying gallantry nightly with the K, but we're looking to spell that differently now. So we spell it without the K. It sounds exactly the same, and it does mean on a regular basis if something happens every night. So let's try 24 down. Type of rodent, 4 letters. Type of rodent, it leaves hollow. Okay, well this is a funny old word, but it's really whether or not you know the word, I think, for this. It leaves hollow. Now I'm going to tell you that what that means is you need to think of a word for a hollow that is 6 letters long, and you need to remove the word it from it. Now, I think cavy is the answer then. Don't ask me what type of rodent that is, but I'm pretty sure it's a rodent, a guinea pig. So that is how it works. Cavity, of course, being the hollow. Let's go for 20 down. 7 letters. Stepped up to cover fellow sleeping. Okay. So let's use the principles that we've established. If anything can be read as an instruction about position, it's probably part of the recipe. Stepped up. This is a down clue. So if something goes up, what might be happening to it? It might be being reversed. So immediately we should be saying stepped up. Oh, okay, that's an instruction. So the other side of the clue must be the definition, which means it's sleeping or fellow sleep. Fellow sleeping? Can we think of any 7-letter words that mean fellow sleeping? No. So it's probably a 7-letter word that means sleeping. And look at the letters here. So it's probably dormant. And how do we justify it? Stepped is trod up. T-R-O-D. Covers, to cover, fellow. A fellow is a man. And there's the answer. Dormant. So not difficult once we sort of grasp the principles. Now, oh wow, okay. I am heavily constant at the moment reading Percy Jackson, so I might know what this one is. 8 letters. Olympian, put in fencing work. Well, I mean, I want it to be Poseidon, obviously. Now, why? Yeah, it is. That's really clever. It's a very good. There's a lot of really clever wordplay in this puzzle. So Olympian, we're looking for a god. Poseidon it is very likely the answer. Why? If you put a question to somebody, what do? You pose the question, don't you? So put and pose are synonymous. So put there is P-O-S-E. In is I-N, the word in. Fencing, so surrounding, a two-letter word that means work. And if you work on something, you do it. So Poseidon is the answer. And all we've got to do now is get this one and check jambalaya. Which I now definitely wouldn't change. So I will actually just check that first. Jambalaya, there we go. A Creole or Cajun dish made with rice mixed with seafood or chicken, seasoning, etc. A mixture generally. So like a smorgasbord. Jambalaya. Now we've got to get this now. So what is it? 8 letters. Scary. Being among last in mine by explosive. I don't know what this is. Scary. Scary is a Spice Girl? It's not Mel somebody, is it? Mel B or Mel C? One of the Mels was a Spice Girl. I'd love it if this had a Spice Girl in it. Mel. No, it can't do, can it? In mine by explosive. Scary to define Mel B or Mel C. Mel B, Melanie. Was it Melanie Black? I really can't remember. Melanie Chisholm. This is really going to show me up. Melanie, Mel B, Mel C. I think the scary one was Mel somebody. No, okay. I think I've got to abandon that thought. Scary? Oh, scary being, perhaps. Could that be the definition? So is this some sort of monster? That feels like it might be right. Among last in mine by explosive. Oh, it's not. Oh, I thought it might be a hidden for a moment. No. No, I don't think. Oh, goodness, what is this then? I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, counterfeiter, I could have spelt that wrong. Oh, that's a terrible thought. Is it IE? And I've messed up my brain by getting the spelling wrong. That doesn't look right. It really doesn't. Okay, alright, I don't know. So I think I've just got to think of a word. Scary being among last in mine by explosive. It's so weird, this phrase last in mine. It so clearly seems to me to be It's not an anagram, is it? If something is treated in an explosive way. Bogeyman. Oh, it's going to be Bogeyman. So it's scary being. Scary being. I don't quite get it yet. Among. So it's an anagram of among with B-E-Y. Oh yeah, so last in mine, E, B-Y, explosive. It's just an anagram. That's very clever. It didn't look like an anagram at all, but that's lovely. Okay, there we go. So we've done that one. I think. Let's check we haven't made any boo-boos. All good. All good. All good. Brilliant. So now well, apparently that was easier than the quick cryptic, which I will race on in inverted commas, given apparently it's monstrous. In fact, let's just check the stats for both puzzles. I didn't do that earlier. I should have done it. So John McCabe is the first real time there on the puzzle we've just done. That's a real time of just under 5 minutes. Mark's just over 5 minutes. And Liam Hughes is the next name I recognise there. A finalist in last year's, grand finalist in last year's Times Crossword Championship, just over 7 minutes. So certainly not a completely straightforward puzzle. Let's view the top 100 just so I can... I mean, there's some good solvers here taking... I mean, Chloe and Liam, who were both on stage at the same time. You know, but there's some very decent solvers taking 12 or 13 minutes there. So it certainly wasn't a walk in the park, that one. But let's go and have a look at the stats for the quick cryptic then. So Mark's in... Okay, so John McCabe, 326. But, oh no, Matthew Marcus, that's real, 318. So, okay. It's interesting there are no neutrinos there. Anyway, let's get cracking. Let's see if I can do this any justice. Peak amount of weight besetting one man with tankard, maybe, no clue. Oxford College, mostly keen to embrace Keble, is the answer there. Student revised Keats and Poe, part of English literature. Syllabus, oh, I don't know. What was this then? Oh no, this isn't Kilimanjaro, is it? I don't know how to spell that. I bet you it is. Killing. One chap with tankard jar. Amount of weight, kilo. So it's whether that's an I, Kilimanjaro or Kilimanjaro. Oh, I don't know. Mount Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro. I don't know. I'm going to get that wrong, aren't I? Top cyclist, Rick dismissing current in Mexico. Top cyclist, Eddie Merckx? I'd love that. Is it Eddie Merckx? Another thing I can't spell. Rick dismissing current. Yeah, us in Mex. It's Eddie Merckx making it. That's fantastic. Love, that'll be nil. Yeah, that's right. Strong drink curtailed all detective work. Don't know. Enticement, that's lucre. 6 deliveries is an over. Arranged under bed, taxed excessively, overburdened probably. Some ibuprofen not back after boozing here at the pub. So what is this one then? Alcopop? Cop-op. Yeah, Alcopop. That's very clever. German agreed with second agent about Jasper is the answer there. This is a pangram, isn't it? One who condemns beer drunk around our rebuker, I think. Like something. Student revised key. Lake. Part of English literature syllabus. Oh, the Lake Poets. Lovely clue. That woman, her. Records. Families. Type of rug. Oh. Axeman. No, I don't know. Iron withering a piece of paper. know. Should have been able to get that. Companion welcomed to join unknown South American revolutionary. Good grief. Don't know. Seaman's thick black coat. Tar. Herd inheritor. Irishman returning. Long distance communication. Must be air something. Air mail. Liam returned. Goodness me. Part of body dance. Oh, who's this by? Breadman. Showing more happiness to Spooner. Part of body is going to be the unfit. Inapt. It for relations. Good grief. Group of workers. TUC? Oh, tub. Unwieldy boat. What's this one then? African pickle. Engrossing European person. No idea. Question and answer primarily. Giving good advice for extinct. Oh, no, this is quagga or something, isn't it? That's some sort of weird creature. Doctor angered. A grandee is a very important person. Let's have duck and fish in centre of Mere. Ida. Gosh, that's not easy. Perhaps Titchmarsh Allen in unusually sandy country once. Nyasaland. What? This is this is quite hard. And what's this then? Something border, belly border, part of body, dance, showing more happiness, gallbladder. Okay, now what was this one? This was the African pickle. Sudanese? African pickle. Engrossing European person. I think this is the name of an African. I don't know actually. Pickle. If you're in a pickle, you're in a squeeze. Sudanese is all I can think of. Oh, I don't know what that is. And what's this then? Well, something spoken? That woman, sheepskin. Press cutting will work there, won't it? Companion welcome to join Ave, perhaps. Chavez. Goodness, this is a brutal puzzle. Now, have I had a Q? I had have a Q in quagga. Maybe quagga was wrong. GG, no, Q and... It's not... Quagga isn't like that, is it? No. African pickle. Engrossing European person. Dane? Could that be Dane there? And a pickle. What is going on? So, sauce. Sour. I mean, I don't know that word. Sourdine. That would require pickle to be sauce and European person to be Dane. And it requires Kilimanjaro to be spelt correctly. I think I'd go for that. That is brutal. Oh, it wasn't right. It didn't look right, did it? So what? Hang on. So pickle was then S blank U blank E. A pickle is a At least Kilimanjaro was correct. Hang on, so what's this word then? S blank U blank E for pickle. And it isn't sauce. It didn't look like Sudanese, did it? I mean, African is probably ES, it's probably SE at the end. Oh, so S, sows, to pickle is to sows. So it's Soudanese, or Soudanese. So to pickle is sows, like that, I think. To pickle, yeah. So Soudane, same as Sudanese, but spelt in the most bizarre way. I mean, goodness me, that's brutal. That's really hard. That is really hard. And it is a pangram. Look at it, in fact, it's a comedy pangram. Look at the middle. Q, J, X, and Z. All of the high-scoring Scrabble letters lumped around the middle of the grid. That's very funny. Very funny. It's a great puzzle. My goodness me, it's not an easy quick cryptic. Good luck if you're expecting that to teach you how to solve the puzzles. Goodness me, brutal. Nyasaland, Soudanese, Chavez, Eddie Merckx. I mean, it's an absolute. The general knowledge you need. Oxford College's Lake Poets, Kilimanjaro. It's brilliant. I love it. Quagga. Goodness, fantastic. Anyway, there we go. That's today's masterclass. If you do enjoy these videos, I make this weekly appeal. Please, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. If you can drop a kind comment, it all helps with the algorithm, which doesn't like these videos. The algorithm wants us to make Sudoku videos, but we really enjoy making these videos and we'd like to continue doing them, and any help you can do to persuade YouTube that we should be doing them, we would most appreciate. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.